Did you know you can be doing everything right and still be completely disconnected from your own life? Think about that. A lot of life gets lived on autopilot. You wake up to do what you are supposed to do. You stay in your lane. You make responsible choices. Nothing's wrong. You're fine. Those are paid. People aren't worried about you. From the outside, it looks steady, safe, even successful. And that's exactly why it's easy to miss what's happening underneath. Because autopilot doesn't crash, you just slowly drift. Days blur, decisions get deferred, and one day you look up and you realize you've been managing your life instead of actually living it. And unfortunately, sometimes that can be for years. Not because you failed, not because you've stopped choosing. The right decision is you just stopped choosing on purpose. So let's talk about what a day on autopilot might look like. Because it could be you. I know it's been me at certain times in my life. Most women don't choose to wake up, okay, and have their day go all to heck. But it happens once we start reacting to it, responding to it, and surviving it, because that's what it feels like. And by the time you hit the pillow, at the end of the day, you're just exhausted. But if you ask yourself, if I felt intentional today, or if you feel intentional today, you would struggle to name it. And it's autopilot. That's what it is. And the tricky part, it doesn't look like a crisis. It looks like a life that works, a life that functions, a life other people would call even great. But once you see it, especially in yourself, you really have a hard time unseeing it. And here's why this matters. It's not like a big explosion. It just slowly disconnects you from your day. Your days turn into weeks, weeks turn into years, and somewhere along the way, you still feel like the one driving. You recognize somebody else has got your own wheel. It's not a motivational problem. It's not a discipline issue. And it's not because you're incapable. Please know that. This happens to very capable women, responsible women, women who get things done. And you don't need a breakdown to justify wanting more. You don't have to have it come to a head. So in this video, I want to notice the subtle signs with you about maybe why you might be living on autopilot, even if your life looks totally fine from the outside. I'll explain why capable women get stuck in cruise control without even realizing it. And I'll show you how to make small intentional pivots. Pivots are not transformational changes. They're just little movements that build momentum without blowing up your life. Oh my goodness, when you say I'm fine, it's a warning light. Think about how often someone asks you, how are you? And without thinking, you say, well, I'm just fine. Not bad, not great. I'm fine. And here's what nobody says out loud, and you really need to hear this. Fine is not a neutral response. It's actually you emotionally flatlining. Ooh, that sounds hard. But life keeps moving, but you feel numb. No real lows, no real highs, just going through the motions. And it's like a warning light on your dashboard that's been on so long, you even stop noticing it. Because your car still runs. You're getting where you need to go, but something's off. Autopilot doesn't hurt you enough to force change. That's why it lasts for so long. So let's talk about 5 signs that maybe you might be living on autopilot. And maybe some pivots that you've been in search of that might get you back on the right direction. So sign number 1, your days blur together. This one is subtle. It's not that nothing happens. There's just so much that happens. You get up, handle responsibilities, move from one thing to the next, do what it needs to be done. But if I ask you what stood out from yesterday or even last week, you have to really think. Not because your life is empty, because it's automated. Your brain conserves energy by running routines instead of requiring presence. Same schedule, same patterns, same responses. That's why it just all blurs together. It's why weeks disappear. Okay, so what can you do to potentially change that? The pivot would be, for your consideration, is to introduce an interruption. Just one. If you typically do something in the morning, do it at night. Okay? Change how you do it. Change when you do it. Change where you do it. Or read that book that you purchased that you knew you needed to have and you haven't opened yet. 10 minutes a day. Not as a task, but something you actually want to do. Slow down a normal activity. Just enjoy doing dishes. Don't make it a task, just enjoy it. This little bit of novelty in your brain will wake it up. And once you interrupt your own blur, you start remembering your days again. Okay. So here's another sign. You're busy all day, but feel like you've accomplished nothing. Boy, have I ever felt that in my life. This is where a lot of very capable women get stuck. You're moving all day, solving, handling, checking boxes. From the outside, you look super productive and reliable, but inside it feels flat. At the end of the day, you're tired, but not satisfied. Not that, wow, that mattered feeling. More like a quiet emptiness where accomplishment should live. That's autopilot, and it could be your autopilot. You're constantly in motion without any meaning at all. This pivot doesn't require you to do more. It's actually changing the question. Don't only ask, what do I need to get done today, but also ask, what would make today be more meaningful to me? That doesn't have to be big. It might be starting with the work you actually care about. Or searching and finding one real conversation you've been putting off. Or protecting a boundary, maybe say no finally, right, that you usually ignore. Just one aligned action is enough because meaning actually restores agency. When you feel again, okay, personal agency goes up. And agency is what pulls you out of cruise control. A third sign could be that you just feel tired, but not in a good way. Like you're just exhausted all the time. Maybe you're fine and tired, right? That's your response. There's a difference between being tired because you did something worthwhile and becoming tired because you spent the entire day reacting. Autopilot tired just hits different. It's not because you stretched yourself in a meaningful way. You just made 1,000 small decisions. Boy, teaching is so much like that. Yes, no, yes, you can go to the bathroom. Stop doing that, right? You've held 1,000 things together, literally. And that kind of tired doesn't resolve with rest because it's not physical exhaustion. It's decision fatigue. The pivot, right? Again, we're making pivots, small ones, could be reduce micro decisions and add back one intentional habit. Not a life overhaul, one tiny habit, 2 minutes of stretching before bed, right? Just do that, right? A couple of sentences in a journal, okay? Maybe drink water before coffee. I mean, you name it. Small enough to keep intentional, enough to matter. Consistency builds confidence, and confidence makes bigger pivots feel possible. Okay, a fourth sign could be you rarely feel genuine joy or anticipation. This one really kind of can hit at your heart. Oh, it sounds like I should be happy. I mean, nothing's technically wrong. You kind of look around, right? Life looks okay on paper, but you're not excited about anything. Not miserable, just flat. When life backs novelty, progress, or challenge, your brain stops releasing the chemistry that fuels your own motivation and joy. Not because something's wrong, but because your system is understimulated. Your pivot reintroduces celebrations and wins on purpose. At the day, spend some time and say, you know what, that went really well for me today. Or that was such a win for me. That completion was success. I wasn't worried about perfection. Give myself credit. Give yourself credit for your effort, even when it's not perfect. When you celebrate, your brain knows that you matter and why it mattered to you. And when your effort feels seen, your joy comes back. I think this one's really hard to recognize. This is number 5. You know you're capable of more, but you don't act on it. This is the quiet one. No crisis, no drama. You're dissatisfied, just a steady knowing there's more available to me, and you know you're not taking it. You know there's more growth, more alignment, more depth, but you just sit here and don't move because it feels risky, inconvenient, and even impractical. Autopilot loves safety, and capable women are very good at making life work, even when it's no longer stretching them. And here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after. Yep. The pivot doesn't overhaul your life, but let's run a low-risk experiment. Instead of asking, can I change my life? Ask, what's one thing I can try today that moves me toward what I really want? Take a class, right? Do something. a decision that you've been postponing. Treat it like data, not destiny. Because action is action, not thinking, not talking, just doing. Listen, if any of this feels familiar, if you recognize your whole life running on autopilot, you've got your cruise control and you're running, the question isn't why you're there, it's what you're going to do about it. Not tomorrow. Not when things calm down. Right now. Even just a small pause matters, and you don't have to muscle your way out of this alone. It's not a wrestling match. God is not asking you to fix everything. He's inviting you to wake up, to notice, to choose the next right step with wisdom instead of worry. Autopilot might feel safe, but you were made to live awake. Take a breath, please. Deep breath. Get honest and decide what does it look like to show up for your life again. Every day is a new day. You can reset. Why not start here?